Hi guys and welcome back. In this video we're going to be closing individual tabs using a shortcut, so let's go ahead and start with that. We're going to create a function called close current tab. So I'm going to go ahead and implement it here, close current tab. And what it's going to do is it's going to get the current tab. So we'll say current is get text widget, and then we'll do notebook.forget current. Now let's add a shortcut for this. So in the file menu, we're going to add a shortcut for it. So just before exit, we will do file menu, add command. The label is going to be close tab, and the command is going to be close current tab, and the accelerator is going to be ctrl plus Q. Next up, we're also going to add a shortcut. So we'll do root.bind Control-Q, and the event is close current tab. All right, let's run the app and see what happens. So Control-Q, and the tab is closed. Create new, and it comes back. Of course, if you do create multiple tabs, you can then close them individually. Now, if the tab is unsaved, you want to be able to tell the user that they have unsaved changes and they probably shouldn't close a tab until they save them. So let's do that first of all. We will say if the current tab is unsaved and they confirm close, then we will do notebook forget. So two functions here that don't exist that we have to implement. So let's go ahead and do current tab unsaved. What this is going to do is it's going to get the current text widget. So we'll say text widget is get text widget. Then it's going to get the content. And finally, it's going to see whether it matches the stuff in the dictionary. So we'll say return hash of content is different from text contents str text widget. There we go. So if this returns true, this tab is unsaved. Next up, let's do a confirm close. So this is going to do return message box dot ask yes no, and it's going to contain the stuff that we have down here. Just going to make it a little bit more generic, and by saying that you've got unsaved changes, and call it close. All right, so what we've got here now is this logic. If the current tab is unsaved, which means we need to save it, and we confirm that we do want to close, then we will forget the current tab. But there is a piece of logic missing. What if the current tab is not unsaved? What if the current tab is actually all right to be closed? Well, at no point in this function would we close that tab. So we want to do the following, which is that we want to invert this confirm close. If the current tab is unsaved and not confirm close, then we will just return. Otherwise, we will forget the tab. Okay, it's important to test your application and make sure to verify the different scenarios to make sure that you don't miss out on any important logic like we almost did here. Next up, we want to fix another problem, which is that if I run the application and I close this tab, you can see that we've got a pretty ugly window here. So let's create an empty file if we don't have any left. So we'll say if the len of notebook.tabs is 1, that is before we forget the current tab, then we're going to create a new one. All right, let's press play now. And you can see that as we press Control-Q, which I am doing, promise, then this stays there. That's because we are creating new ones. Okay, let's press Control-Q now, and you can see that we get this message box. You have unsaved changes. Are you sure you want to close? And we're going to say no, and it stays. We're going to press yes, and it goes away, and we get a new one. Going down to the confirm quit, here what we're going to do is we are going to use our function. So we'll say not and not confirm close. Then we will return. So just making use of this confirm close function that we defined above made it a bit more generic so that we could use it in both closing a tab and closing the application, and that makes our code a little bit cleaner, a little bit shorter as well. That's everything for this video. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.